Washington, a Cumulus media station.
Making sense of the news.
News Talk 105.9.
News now.
WMAL News at 7. Good morning, everyone. I'm John Matthews. Virginia's making a formal bid to land the Wizards and Capitals to play in Alexandria.
The Major Economic Investment Project Approval Commission, which is made up of a dozen Virginia state lawmakers, approved a proposal in Richmond which includes a new stadium for both the Washington Capitals and Wizards near the new Potomac Yard Metro Station, a 3,000-seat concert venue, a conference center, hotels, apartments, and the headquarters for Monumental Sports and Entertainment, which owns the teams. That source tells 7 News that Monumental has been heavily involved in the discussions.
7 News reporter Christian Flores, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser says in a statement she's not giving up on efforts to negotiate a new deal for the teams to stay at a renovated.
Now.
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday to all of you. It is 7:07 on News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news. This is O'Connor and Company. No, I am not Larry O'Connor. I am Andrew Langer, in for Larry this week, sitting with Julie Gunlock, having a great time chatting.
Good morning.
Julie reminding me of bad movies from the early 2000s that I hadn't seen. Listen, we got a great hour coming up. We're going to be talking with the Oklahoma State School Superintendent Ryan Walters about what's going on with the American Library Association. We've been talking about that all day. And we had we're going to talk in the 8 a.m. hour with John Fund from the National Review. He's their national affairs reporter. And also Amelia Hamilton, author, activist. She's going to talk to us about her list of the 5 Christmas songs that need to disappear. I got some additions to this list. But I want to start here. Listen, we got to do some celebrity news this morning. See, you know something? Michael could play this, and I would have no idea who this is. I would say, Christina Aguilera. I don't know. I'm not a Swiftie, so this is lost on me. But Taylor Swift attended a comedy show that featured comedian Rami Youssef. And benefited a Gaza charity. She was photographed on Friday night alongside Selena Gomez walking to the event. See, Selena Gomez, I obviously know who Taylor Swift is. Cara Delevingne, Anya Taylor-Joy, who's got the weird eyes. That's the girl with the weird eyes, right? Anya Taylor-Joy?
Yes.
Weird eye girl. And Zoe Kravitz were reportedly in the audience. It was a good old, listen, here we go. Vogue confirmed the good old-fashioned girls' night out at the comedian's show by detailing their outfits. Yes, let's get fashionable for Gaza charities.
Yeah, it's nothing like celebrating, the rape of Jews than going to this fundraiser that 100% of the proceeds for this fundraiser went to ANERA, which is an organization that funds schools which push terrorism. So in Gaza. So this is incredibly gross that Taylor Swift. I'm not a big Swiftie. Oh, I'm not a Swiftie at all, and I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan.
Yes,
I think she's been a terrible influence on young women. Aside from being clothed. That's good. Yes. That is the only good thing about Taylor Swift. But I don't think she's very bright. I mean, if you saw that, there was a documentary with her talking about Christianity and going after Marsha Blackburn. Not the brightest bulb in the tree, so not surprised. But this is disappointing. Hollywood is not coming. Where have been the telethon for Israel? Where's been the where are the stars talking about the rapes of these women
on October 7th? It is fascinating to me that this situation has really shown. You can get it. There was a time, and I would say before October 7th, there was a time when celebrities could say, something, well, we want to support all people, we want to be good people, and, we're done celebrities, but we think that the Palestinians have a right to exist. Right? You get that Taylor Swift doesn't know about Hamas and terrorism, or wouldn't know about Hamas and terrorism, or what from the river to the sea means, or the fact that the concept of a Palestinian state is a myth. Doesn't know you could get that before October 7th. But after October 7th and the horrific videos that were coming out, I mean, by the way, also Selena Gomez, Taylor Swift, Is Cara Delevingne, is she also a musician?
She's a
or
model,
she
and
just
she's also an actress.
Okay, actress and model. But my point is, Zoe Kravitz's dad is a musician. You know, the idea that you would think that these are people who would be horrified by a terrorist attack that occurred at a music festival. And that they would that would sort of be an eye-opening wake-up call. Say, you know something, huh? You know, I'm scratching my chin here. You can't see me. Julie can see me. Maybe we need to rethink this whole thing. You know, it is interesting to me because you get the John Lovitzes and the Rob Schneiders of the world again to follow this SNL theme. And man, I don't know, maybe there's something in the water with SNL cast members who were on in the late 80s and into the mid 90s who were able to have the courage to take political stands on things. You know, whether or not it is Dana Carvey poking at Anthony Fauci or Rob Schneider and John Lovitz both taking extremely hard and appropriate stances when it comes to terror in Israel. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. But Taylor Swift does present herself as politically astute. She does. She presents herself as, no, I disagree with that, but she does. I mean, this isn't a woman who's tried to stay out of things, because in that case, I would defend her. Like if this had been, because some people were saying she hasn't made any public statements on these political issues, which I applaud her, but she has now by attending this event and going to this event, she has clearly taken a stand and made a political statement. Her actions are a political statement.
Right.
And so and her ignorance of these issues is not a good excuse. You deserve criticism if you attend a fundraiser like this.
But by the way, so we there's a line in this piece out of Vogue. Swift was recently named Time Magazine's Person of the Year for 2023. Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's a thing. It still is a thing anymore. But I don't take that list, that naming seriously in any way, shape, or form. I mean, if Pac-Man can be named Time Magazine's Person of the Year, right? That's the company that you're in. It's Hitler, Pac-Man, and now Taylor Swift. Yeah. That's one heck of a way to look at this.
Yeah.
Go on. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Yeah, no. So it's this organization, ANERA. American Near East Refugee Aid. I mean, it really is, as you said, they're supporting building schools, supporting that teach about terrorism. But it's also chock-a-block full of other leftist progressive tropes that are out there.
Well, and we know what the ANERA says. We provide humanitarian relief to the people of Gaza. We know where that humanitarian relief goes. That goes to Hamas. And then what does Hamas do? Hamas bombs Israel. So this is not like, any organization that claims to provide humanitarian relief to Gaza it's not getting there.
Right. But I guess my point in raising this, but elsewhere on their social media account, they talk about one of the other tweets, how climate change impacts communities in the Levant. Because again, right at the end of the day, and I don't know if I'm sure somebody has said this, but I'm just waiting for the leftists to come out and say that the attacks on Gaza, the Hamas attacks in Israel were caused by climate change. And I listen, I say that only half jokingly, because I know that there is some leftist sociologist professor, maybe the president of Harvard, who will come out and turn around and say, yes, climate change is causing terrorism this is what is causing Iranian terrorism, the Iranians to fund terrorism all around the world. I mean, this is where we are today.
Look, we have seen what happens on college campuses with those 3 university professors unable to say simply that the call for genocide against Jews is wrong. Yes. We see this sort of moral equivalency with Taylor Swift and Selena. Hollywood has been silent on what happened on October 7th. Utterly silent. Where is Michelle Obama, by the way, who famously did Bring Back Our Girls? Where has she been on what happened on October 7th? Where has Hollywood writ large been? Instead, we see these idiot young starlets going to an event essentially supporting Hamas. It's disgusting. We got a real problem.
We do.
We have a real problem, and these sort of thought leaders, if you want to call them thought leaders, but these Hollywood's these Hollywood influencers, and Taylor Swift has an enormous influence on young girls, and this is why she's a bad influence.
Listen, I know we got to go to traffic, but this is the difference in this world of 2023. we need thought leaders. And we need people to be thought leaders out there for these young people. Instead, we get social media influencers. I think you just hit the nail on the head, Julie, with that. Listen, we'll continue in just a moment, but first it's 7:15 a.m.
Making sense of education, because what's happening in your kid's school matters. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
So, Julie, what year is it?
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to listen. Just stay with me here. What year is it right now?
That didn't go well for you yesterday.
I know. It's 2023. We've had Photoshop for how long? We've had Photoshop for almost 30 years out there. And one would think that we would have some expertise, but no, because it is 2023 and nobody has standards anymore. Prince William and Kate. Now these are the royals we like.
Yes, these are the good ones.
Okay, these are the royals we like. They put out their Christmas card yesterday. I'm going to let you take this story because I mean this is just cuckoo crazy.
Yeah, they put out their Christmas card, and it was kind of interesting because they were dressed a little casually, which they actually do. I think
Sure.
the Christmas card each year I haven't seen one this casual because they're all in
Yes.
sort of light colored shirts, and Kate is actually wearing jeans.
It does look kind of like they went to Sears. And
It does. I agree.
Right? That's like Sears.
I agree.
Maybe that's what they're going for.
I've got.
Anyway,
I should
yes.
post our Sears photo from when I was little. That's a doozy. Because
Sure.
it was the 1980s. Anyway, but there's a Photoshop fail in this photo. Their youngest child, who is he? Prince.
I don't know.
Prince Louis.
Sebastian.
Prince
Former
Louis.
Roy.
Prince
Okay.
Louis. His hand is resting on the chair arm, and they somehow. They have photoshopped out his middle finger. Now, I have a theory here.
And we're sure it's a Photoshop, right?
We
we're sure-
suspect.
yeah, okay.
Yes, I think so. This isn't a Richard III kind of situation.
Yes.
But Louis is a bit of a
Handful.
I
Yes.
wonder if he was doing something bad with that middle finger, and they had to Photoshop it out.
Oh, I don't know. Do you think he's old enough to know what that
kidding.
phrase?
I'm
I mean,
only
you know,
kidding.
But on the other hand, you're right. I mean, you know, we remember the Andrew Giulianis of the world, and I'm sure Rudy during his inauguration would have loved to have had Photoshop then. But this is crazy. One would expect, yeah, right. The
that you have a professional at Buckingham
Right.
Palace. Yeah, you
Maybe.
would think. Yeah.
Maybe, just maybe. I'm sure. I'm sure they didn't go out to Fiverr and send a picture.
It really
out
does
to,
look like
yeah.
it's sudden. It like it disappeared because it doesn't look like
Yes.
he's holding it under because it's not enough. It's literally a stump. So
Yes.
yeah,
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like, right? It is the royal family, so you never know what happens with these royals. But
a little bit
it,
inbred, right?
And then I guess somebody else said there are other errors here. It's a nice family photo. As soon as I looked at it, I noticed Louis' hand. He's missing a finger. Then that got me looking closer. His right leg looks swollen. Where's William's thigh? Where's Kate's other foot?
You know who I think the Photoshopper was, or the photo editor was?
No.
Meghan.
Oh.
It was Meghan Markle.
You think she's got those skills?
She is so thrilled. First of all,
Yes.
she's thrilled. She is celebrating this photo fail.
It is absolutely crazy. I mean, that's the thing. And you would think that somebody would have, again, it's not just the editing, but it's the attention to detail afterwards.
Listen, I have a very good friend who's probably listening right now, and she did her Christmas card, and on the back, she misspelled something. A little note you put in the back and she misspelled something, and she was so upset. Right? Because,
Sure.
I mean, how many times do you read that thing before you finally hit, go, right?
Yes.
And, you spend a lot of money on these things. And so I think this should be a comfort to everybody who's messed up their Christmas
Absolutely.
card this year. If Kate Middleton can do it, you can do it. In fact, maybe
Right.
it's a sign that you're doing it right. If
Maybe.
you have a little mistake in there, hey,
Right?
very
Isn't
royal
it the whole
of you.
thing? If you get if you buy a Persian rug, and all Persian rugs have an error in them in the patterning.
Really?
That's the whole thing. That's how you
Trivia.
know. By the way, that's how you know that it's a real Persian rug.
Huh.
It's got an error in the patterning because God does not want perfection, right? So it offends God when you try to have a perfect pattern. So you force an error.
True
into it.
of
But I
some
think that's
tapestries as well.
that's
I
a
learned
good-
that
that's
in
a good way to
Ireland
look at it.
recently.
I guess I come back to this. I'm reminded. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Andrew Langer, in for Larry O'Connor today on O'Connor & Company. So Julie, fascinating story coming out here. Are you a Titanic fan?
I hate Titanic. I hated the movie.
You and me
I'm the only woman who does. Seriously.
No. Well, that's good. I appreciate that. So this story came out. Apparently, James Cameron only cast short extras on the Titanic set to make the set look better. Well, this has been done before. I said this to Heather yesterday, I think it was. So the story comes out. This is exactly what the director of Michael Curtis, who directed Casablanca. Now, you're a Casablanca fan, I hope.
Well, of course.
So, that's what they did when the scene at the Casablanca airport. Any scene at the Casablanca airport where you see planes landing or being serviced, those are little people around the airplanes because they wanted to make the set look full scale. This is fascinating to me, though. The scale of everything was beyond anything we can imagine in terms of our prior experience. At the time, we thought, wow, there's no way this movie could even ever make its money back. Well, guess what? So this is what they did. They did something. Let's hire smaller people and make the set smaller, and everything will look normal.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he says that anybody over 5'8", we didn't cast them. I mean, it's not that small.
Well, listen, this is better than this movie you were talking to me about in the break. What was it called? Tiptoes?
Tiptoes.
Which I do not recommend.
Which is, I think, a 90s. It wasn't 2000. I think it was a 90s film about. It was a rom-com with both big people and little people. Anyway, weird.
There we go. Listen, the next half hour, we're going to be joined by Ryan Walters. He's the Oklahoma State Superintendent. We're going to talk about their break with the American Library Association. Also going to be joined in the next hour by John Fund and Amelia Hamilton. This is O'Connor and Company on WMAL. It's 7:30.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station.
Making sense of the news.
News Talk 105.9.
News now.
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
Well, hey there, everybody. It is 7:37 here on News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. A good Tuesday to all of you. I'm Andrew Langer inside. I'm Andrew Langer in for Larry O'Connor. You're on O'Connor and Company, sitting with Julie Gunlock. Hello, Julie.
You need more coffee.
I clearly do need more caffeine this morning. Later on the show, the next hour, we're going to be joined by John Fund from the National Review. He's their national affairs reporter. Our old friend Amelia Hamilton is going to join us as well. Got all kinds of things I want to talk about with Amelia Hamilton. But joining us right now, Ryan Walters. He is the Oklahoma State Superintendent. He's a former teacher. He's the former Oklahoma Education Secretary as well. We were talking about lesbian Marxists on the march in the American Library Association, Julie. Oklahoma has cut ties with the ALA. Ryan, welcome to the show. Let's talk about it. Let's tell us all what is Oklahoma doing?
Yes, sir. Well, yeah, first of all, it's unbelievable, right, that a Marxist, self-proclaimed Marxist was in charge of the ALA and bragged about the influence she was able to have there with our library. So what we did is we went into our standards and our agency and looked to see how much influence the ALA had. My predecessor was a Democrat. And what do you know? They allow the ALA to write all the standards, influence what was done in schools, the type of curriculum, the type of books. So we went in and rooted it out, took it all out, told the ALA, we don't want you influencing what we're doing here in the state of Oklahoma. It's just we're not going to welcome Marxism into our schools.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Julie, go ahead. You were about to ask.
No, I was just going to say, is there, what has the reaction been? Because, you get a lot of the sort of book banning and, oh my gosh, there's so much, cancellation and all this stuff coming, when a city or a state official does this type of thing. What has the reaction been in Oklahoma?
Right. Well, their action's been very supportive, except for the teachers union. Other than that, the people
Shocker.
we talk to and parents go, yeah, exactly. Parents say, this is unbelievable. And, what we've kept talking about is, what actually has academic value, and at what point, it's kind of two arguments here. And that's what I've told parents. As parents, just a tenet of Marxism is that you're trying to undermine America and our institutions. So first of all,
Yes.
that is their goal.
And parenting.
So you have that in place. And parenting, exactly. The family, faith, everything. So, that ideology is not welcome. But then you also just look at what they're trying to inject into our schools, and it's obvious that the curriculum, the books, that they are trying to undermine family values. They're trying to inject things that are just, you look at the sexual ideology and you're going, why on earth would any adult believe this is appropriate to place in front of the eyes of a first grader? And so then I start talking about, guys, academically, how is there any academic value to talking about transgenderism in a first grade class when, frankly, we're looking at a country, we just got back our international scores. We have fallen further behind the rest of the world in math and reading, and we're over here talking to kids about being transgender. Well, we need to get back to talking about math and just helping kids understand how to read.
Right, and this is what my question here, Ryan. And again, we're talking with Ryan Walters. He's the Oklahoma State Superintendent. The American Library Association has this enormous influence. It's not just on the public libraries, but also on the public school library curricula. So they're choosing the books or offering advice on the books that should be put in, and also, what these schools are supposed to do when kids have their library time. I mean, am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, sir. And so I think that's an important aspect of this to understand is you've got two aspects of it. Number one, you got the kids, right? The kids are going to the libraries. What the libraries are purchasing, what they're using. When you have a state that is influenced by the ALA, is they use their standards, they use the curriculum they recommend, they just go in, and that's how they determine what's in their library. But the second part, to your point, is it's similar with curriculum and trainings for the teachers. They go in and look through this and go, these are the recommendations. I'm a third grade, literacy teacher, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to, I'm just going to go through and see what they recommend, and I'm going to go to these trainings and use the curriculum attached with it. And so it is a way for them to inject this ideology in not only the libraries, but also what's going on in the classroom day to day.
I'm curious, has there been any attempt to create an alternative to the ALA so that states and libraries can join a different group, which helps with guidance and standard setting and that kind of stuff? We see that when these organizations become infected with this kind of ideology, or when they're being led by actual Marxists, we sometimes see competition. We've seen it with the Girl Scouts, for instance, or the classic learning test is a great example. Have you heard of any organizations gathering or organizing to be a competitor to the ALA?
Yeah, that's a great question. That was, my first reaction a few months ago was, well, who's the other one we can, what else is out there? And what I found out is we've got several groups that are rushing to fill this void. And so I don't think there's anything quite out there yet, but we've had conversations with multiple groups. And by the way, I had conversations with my counterparts from about 8 other states that we're just going, hey, as soon as you guys get this up and ready, we're going to start talking about it, and we'll start, looking at what you guys are recommending, because there's such a desire for, guys, we are, in our state, we are doing the biggest tutoring program in state history. We are doing an emphasis on reading and getting kids to read by 3rd grade. So, this is obviously something that's really important to us, and we need a partner that's not going to sit here with a ideology that they're pushing or some other ulterior motive. And so when someone comes in and says, hey, we're actually here to really help ensure we're reading on grade level, frankly, we're reading academically valuable works.
Right.
Hey, we want our kids, we want our history intertwined in it. We want conversations around, hey, why is it important to be trustworthy? Why is it important to have self-control? Hey, weave all of that type of content into the books. Let's talk about our American history. But guys, we got to do this the right way.
Here. Well, listen, Ryan, we wish you the best of luck in all of this. Thank you for doing the work that you're doing.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Take care. That was Ryan Walter. He is the Oklahoma State Superintendent there. They have just cut ties with the American Library Association. We've got more coming up. It's 7:44 on WMAL. Well, so big news this week, Julie. Tucker Carlson's got a new streaming venture, doesn't he?
Exciting.
Yeah. So let's hear this. He's got a video out promoting it. Let's hear what the video had to say.
Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. We've been out of work for 7 or 8 months now. Hard to know. Time flies when you're unemployed. But actually, we have been working in secret and producing an awful lot of material for months now. interviews, etc., and all of it has now found its way to tuckercarlson.com. We're launching a brand new thing very soon, and we'd love for you to see it. So go to tuckercarlson.com to see it first.
Good for him.
Well, there you go. Streaming platform. He'd been on Twitter. Now he's finding an extra way to monetize it. But this is A, this is the way of the world. B, it also goes to show that there are ways that other actors can enter into the industry and break these so-called monopolies on things. This is why we don't need government intervention in certain areas, right? We don't need the Biden FTC talking about breaking things up. This is encouraging, isn't this, Julie?
Yeah, look, he had been Fox's most popular host. The ratings were through the roof, and they let him go. And I'm glad that he, and the good thing about Tucker is he didn't stop. I mean, I think, was it a week after or 2 weeks after he was let go from Fox, he started streaming on Twitter. And we all sort of assumed this was coming.
Right.
There is a hunger for alternatives to Fox, which has been sort of the leader in cable news for conservatives. Right. Newsmax, obviously talk radio.
Yes.
There are alternatives, and this is yet another alternative to that market. Fox, I don't know the ratings right now, but with this increased competition and of course of a huge ratings guy at Fox, this has got to make them all a little nervous.
Right, sure. I mean, between this and the early successes of News Nation, which
yes.
I've seen little bits and pieces of, our friend Sean Spicer is over there doing stuff with them. I mean, lots of folks doing stuff over there. Let's hear. He had an interview with Megyn Kelly. Tucker Carlson did. Here's what they had to say.
Big announcement today. So tell us what you're doing. The headline that we got from your team is you're launching a streaming service. And then I will be honest, I was like, what is a streaming service? Like, is that like Hulu when I go to my TV, or Apple or Netflix? Or explain what it means and describe the scope of it.
I'm about to make a river joke. It has nothing to do with streams. And as a trout fisherman, that makes me sad. No, it's simply bringing programming to you by subscription digitally. And we're going to be doing that for two reasons. One, X, which has just been an amazing venue for us and will continue to be our venue. And Elon Musk, really great to us. It's not set up for these videos, for example. If you put out a lot of content and we plan, that's exactly, or for subscriptions. I think it will be. Yeah. I mean, there's a subscription function on X, and I think they're fine-tuning it, and I think we're going to participate in that at some point, et cetera, et cetera. But just the way that it's structured, the nature of the app doesn't lend itself to putting a big library right in front of you on one page. And we want to do that because we have a lot of stuff. And so it's a subscription model, just like any other streaming service or one of these companies with at the end. And the point is really simple. It's twofold. One, you want to bring a lot of material. I hate the word content. I'm trying to think of an option. A lot of material, a lot of news, a lot of facts, a lot of thoughtful opinions to people.
Yeah, and there we go. And so it's going to be at tuckercarlson.com. That's where it's going to go. Subscriptions are going to cost $9 a month, or you can buy an annual subscription for $72 a year. I mean, this is big stuff. This is the way of the world. Sorry,
well,
Julie,
this is the future of media.
Yeah.
I mean, we are no longer going to have to sort of turn our TVs on and change to a particular channel. And this is why talk radio continues to be incredibly popular, particularly with obviously conservatives. But we actually, to WMAL, we have a lot of liberals and Democrats that tune in too, because it's entertaining and it gives an alternative view, and it's not all just sort of the same message. And this new venture that Tucker has launched, this could launch many more, because again, people are happy to pay a subscription for news and various opinions that Tucker's going to bring to people.
And if you're a brand name like Tucker Carlson, you can monetize it in a way on your own that other folks have had to do through the YouTubes of the world, but he can go ahead and do this.
That's right.
Listen, so much more to get to. It's 7:54 here on O'Connor and Company.